So if by some random chance you came here looking for ASMR, you can find a section of ASMR roughly at minute 39 or 40. I don't know exactly, but just go in that general area. Please enjoy the podcast, you weirdos. I love you all. Hey, how's it going, all of my lonely boys out there? It's your boy Kelvin, aka the Noodle Doodler, back in his sauna of a studio. As always, I'm joined with everyone's favorite pile of trash, Zoe.
Yeah, hi, I'm Zoe.
And today we have a special person with us today. We have Connor Toss of TikTok News. Connor, do you want to do more to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I think it's awesome that my handle almost has nothing to do with what I do on TikTok. And anytime anyone ever says, "Who's Connor Taz?" It's the TikTok news guy. That's me. I think that's pretty cool.
Have you considered changing the name of your channel to TikTok News?
Actually, I was talking to my boss who's into commercial stuff, and he was saying, you should probably just change your name to TikTok news guy or something like that way. But here's the best part. So I've changed my name, I think 3 times now.
I noticed
Jesus.
It was what was it prior? It was something else. And you made a roast of somebody on your news, wanting to be on your channel, and you're like, you could at least get my new handle right.
Yeah.
God.
I was like, I'm gonna be changing my name here. The very least you can get is the last part, Taz, right?
Right.
Get the Taz. I've been saying it wrong because I've been saying toss as if tossing an object, and it's very clearly TAS on my screen.
It's all
It's
right.
okay. Everyone says toss or Taz.
Connor Taz.
Connor Taz.
I think everyone just says the TikTok news guy, but yeah.
That's so all I have to do is just wait a month, and then I'll be able to change it.
So actually, so I have a list of interview questions. The first one is, why don't you know how to use Audacity?
Oh, well, I guess the real question is how to get onto the app Audacity, because I was. But after that, once you get in there, it's super easy. It's just knowing like where the hell you should be going.
So for context, we asked Connor if they had Audacity to record. And he just was in the wrong program entirely.
Audition, right?
We're
You
trying
were
to
on Audition?
yeah.
That was an addition.
Which, if you know how to use Audition, that would have been fine. You were just confused the whole time, and we were trying to give you instructions for Audacity, and it took sending you a screenshot. So it's fine. It's fine. We're all good. We're gonna get through this together.
Well, Connor, you have a lot of experience with Adobe, right? With your job as a photographer.
Yeah, so I'm starting to get a little bit more into Photoshop, but most of the work I do, I can fall back on Lightroom and Premiere Pro.
Yeah. You do commercial photography. I got that right?
Yeah, so I'll do like photo shoots and also like food advertisements. But so I work as a commercial, but I'm working with someone who does it professionally, and I just get paid a little bit after he's paid.
I like the sentence, I work as a commercial. I just want to highlight that.
I work as a commercial. I am a commercial.
No, I am in a commercial. TikTok News is one big front for like... So is that like your passion, or are you just waiting until you become a famous TikToker for a living?
You know what? I think that would be okay. Just to, I think the real goal of TikTok, ultimately, of most people, they get onto TikTok and they try to grow their followings on like YouTube or Instagram, and then they're like, I've made it now. I don't think.
Yeah, they're trying to do what everyone did with Vine.
Exactly.
And the problem I've learned is there's almost no crossover, like at all. Like, oh, follow me on this, and everyone doesn't.
I mean,
exactly.
There's not a crossover unless you're me, and then you go and stalk people's YouTube channels. I happen to go to yours, Connor, because that's what I do.
Oh, Connor, you have a YouTube channel.
I do. I haven't posted anything for I think around 3 weeks now.
Yep.
It's okay. I quit my YouTube channel. I will probably eventually go back to it. I have videos I've like scripted, but I haven't done them. I quit mine to do TikTok back in January.
TikTok's just a lot easier. Like you have a minute worth of content to put out, and it stops you there, versus YouTube where you'll have these videos for 8 hours long of the same song going on and on. So you have a lot more limitations, which I guess will help you work around that. Like if a minute long duration, you can like kind of hone in on, okay, what is the story I want to make, or what's the point I want to get across in a minute, versus YouTube where it's like, you can do like whatever the hell you want.
You can release a full-on movie or more.
I think that even then, like you say 60 seconds, right? But not even then, because some people do, like myself, my videos tend to be like under 15 seconds. So even then it's even easier to put out content when you're just lip syncing to an audio that's like 8 seconds long.
Yeah, and TikTok definitely wants you to. So I ended up trying to do, it was going to be my first little travel video when I was coming from Maryland to Miami, going from Maryland to Miami. And I tried doing this whole thing, I had like the getting on the car, the transit, getting on the plane, going through the airport. And I had this whole thing, and I was going to put some audio over it. And the app only picks songs that will last around 30 seconds. So I didn't want to be that guy that has this whole like, wow, look at this, all this going on. And then the music cuts off in the halfway mark. And you're like, wow, this is kind of boring. I'm just watching like audioless video for another 30 seconds. So
you're going to sit around and you're going to like it, Dan.
And you're gonna fucking like it.
Listen,
you're going to hit that hard
we're all
button
very
for me.
forceful people. We force people to like our stuff.
That's it. There you go. You're like, hey guys, don't forget to like my recent video and this one as well.
Listen, I need you all to like all of my videos, and if you don't, I'm going to shoot you in the dick. And
Exactly. So even if you are a lady, we'll find a way.
Wait, listen, there's always surgery.
Oh God.
They get the surgery just to get shot in the dick. That's a great idea. It's a lot of
Yeah.
work to go in there.
Well, that's an episode of the podcast right there. Is just like getting someone to do that and guest on the podcast.
Oh, absolutely.
That's how we pull in the views.
Yeah, you do that whole process, and then you get that person on the podcast. And then ask them. So, how does it feel that you went through, a life-changing surgery just to also have another life-changing surgery?
See, we tricked you. You think we're recording. This is actually just the writing session.
Yeah.
That way, if there's any bad jokes at the end, that could be like written by Connor Toss of TikTok News.
I know.
Then the other hour can just be full of racism and all this fun stuff.
And you know what? Here's the best part about this little brand I got going on is I full on accepted the fact that I can be like the bad guy. Like I have never gotten like any legitimate hate, because like anytime anyone ever says, "Oh my gosh, like that was so mean," I'm like, in the next video, I'm like, listen, guys, I'm getting a little bit of clout for making fun of people. Of course, I'm the bad guy. I'm not here saying, wow, this person's so great and look at all these people. Actually, okay, perfect example of this. So the Dominic and Josie TikTokers, I ended up doing a bit on them. And I said, you know what, like this Dominic guy, like he's not even following me right now, and he like legitimately like he'll do his best to notice everyone in his live, and what everyone else was upset about was the fact that he was like never live, like physically there. He was just trying to get some donation money. But so I ended up doing this nice thing on this one person. Everything before it was like relatively like making fun of people, and everyone was like, why are you being so nice to him? He's like such a user. He's using people.
Holy shit.
So the one time I'm nice to someone, actually, I got more hate on that than when I make fun of people.
Okay. So I expect you to come off of this, and you're just going to make a hate TikTok news for the both of us.
Exactly. I got to come off and be like, yo, this podcast, it sucks. They were asking me such stupid questions. It was a waste of my time.
They tried to get me to use Audacity settings when I was on Audition.
some free application. Like, this is trash, guys. Like, I was prepared with Adobe, paid subscription stuff, and they brought me down to a paid, not even paid, just free app. So that's what kind of quality we're looking for here. Yeah, and then people like, oh, I gotta go see this, versus like, I did a podcast, it was so great. It's like boring.
Yeah, who wants to see that I want to see the podcast where they berated the TikTok news guy.
He got his he finally got his after doing this on, I think I'm around like 200. So 180 videos of making fun of people. I think.
That's
shit.
I think that's. And
I have about 800 videos, not to flex on the haters or anything. I have about 800 videos, and I want to say a solid 200 of them are me just being mad about various things.
I don't even know how many videos I have. Too many, probably. I think it's funny, though, because you did put out a video about how you were making fun of people wanting to be on your channel, wanting to be basically roasted in your news, and people like jumped on that and started making videos like asking you to have them on your news channel and roast them. I thought that was really, really funny and interesting that people like want to be made fun of rather than the contrary of getting shout outs.
Yeah, it's.
So
Go ahead, man.
Go for it.
No. Listen.
No,
I'm
you.
looking at these audio bits. I mean, I'm looking at these.
The world's politest podcast. No, you.
No, you.
As opposed to last
This is the
week.
next hour. This is the next hour where it's just no you. I guess I'll go. I guess I'll have to be the dom in this. You know, if you don't want to roast me, that's fine. But if you do, you better bring your fucking best.
Oh, absolutely, man.
Yeah, listen, dig into me deep.
Just find all the wrong things about everything you can be the first video where, so most of the time it's I look at one video or I may look at one trend and try to find like one thing in common with like that one video or whatever. I can just go through your entire TikTok account, your entire channel, and just like find every video.
Edit word by word of things I've said. Just make me sound like a pedophile and just.
So what I try to do is I try my very hardest to accurately represent what it is I'm making fun of. But there's this one time where it's the closest I've gotten to like fake news, I guess, if you want to call it. Where fake news. So Sunburnt Sammy and Hold the Elevator ended up doing this like live Skype call interview.
Oh, I saw that one.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, you know, it was all the editing was pretty legit, like how it happened. So at the very end, I think he'd asked like, so like, are you into sports or like, what's the deal with the college and sports and stuff? And she said, well, we actually lost this last game. And he didn't laugh, but I thought, you know what, let's just make him look super fanboy. So that's the closest I've ever gotten to making fake news. Then. Yeah, this is my confession. But if we're being honest, like, so I don't know how you say this, but so to put it shortly, so you would think if we're going stereotypical here. So usually the guy is supposed to be the super tough, like macho man, right? Nothing bothers me, whatever. And the ladies are supposed to be a little bit more sensitive. So here's a fun little story. So I ended up doing this roast on Sunburnt Sammy earlier, and it was just about how her office videos when she was doing that were getting a lot of likes, and she tried going off script, I guess, to do something a little bit different. I said, you know what, she should maybe try staying with the office thing, because that's working. Not that what she's doing now isn't, but if you're going for the likes, like, she's got the office thing packed down. So I did that, and I did this, her interview, and so I made fun of her, right? And I also made fun of Hold the Elevator. So Sunburnt Sammy has like 20, maybe 30. She has a pretty substantial following, but she's not like big. So I do this on her, and I do it on him, and Hold the Elevator in one of his live streams, apparently a bunch of people are saying, why aren't you doing like an interview style with the TikTok news guy? Like you did that with Sunburnt Sammy. Why don't you do that with like the guy that's starting to get known for it? He's like, guys, stop telling me to do that. I'm not doing anything with him. He's a bully, and I don't like bullies. And then the same day,
oh no,
Sunburnt Sammy ends up following me, and she's like, I love that bit. That was so funny. That was just like, and she took it like a champ. And we have Mr. Popular verified. No, he bullied me, and I don't appreciate it. So I was like, okay, fair enough. You know what? I like that's a darn shame that the verified guy doesn't want to like me, but you know, at least one of them, ironically, the one that's supposed to be stereotypically more sensitive, was like, I love that. Keep doing that.
That is gorgeous. I love getting called out. I really do. I cannot tell you the amount of times I've gotten videos. I don't know if you've ever seen my channel. Most of my videos are recorded at my workplace, which is a convenience store.
Is that what it is called now? It's not a gas station?
It's a gas station. It's for record. I sell.
That's a good one.
Yeah, listen. I'm getting called out on my own podcast. Listen.
What else am I here
I came
for?
here to feel safe, and I came here to berate Connor. We were supposed to work together, Trazi.
You came to the wrong place. Come on.
You're supposed to work together, you and I.
It's that TikTok news effect. Everyone's just roasting each other now.
Actually, you know what? I'm actually going to create my own roasting series. I'm going to call it TikTok, but like with TALK now, and I'm just going to roast both of you. That's it. I'm just going to make videos roasting you two.
Just us exclusively.
I'm going to cut deep, and then like I'm going to come back on the podcast with Zoe here, and we're just going to act like nothing's wrong.
Exactly.
I mean,
everyone's just
I'm
friends.
pretty hard to roast, though. I mean, my name is literally trash, so
Yeah.
good
I
luck
guess
there.
That's the great part about having like this low is that we can't really get like hit that hard.
I've already hit bedrock.
I think that sounds like a challenge. Is that a
Oh, it
challenge?
absolutely
Fucking worse,
is.
Connor.
I mean, so it's definitely a double-sided sword though. So you got like some people. So I ended up starting a Patreon just because a lot of people were like, you should start this, that way like when we give you donations, like you get the whole thing. And I ended up talking to a bunch of people before I did this. I'm like, all right, so this TikTok news thing is like the ultimate version of a duet, but it's not a duet because I'm like putting their content right behind me on the green screen, and I'm saying their name a bunch of times, and I'm tagging them in the video. That's like the ultimate whatever. And so I was trying to gauge that. I was like, how much do you think a news should be? And someone said like 50, and I was like, I mean, that's like, I guess it's the equivalent of a drama queen. But so then I ended up going around 40, and someone already did the $40 tier to get roasted. So someone paid $40 for someone to make fun of them and say, this guy, I'm tagging in the video and showing your face. This guy, he's a piece of shit right here.
I'm going to stump you, which is I'm going to make a second account, and I'm going to subscribe to your Patreon so you do news about that account, and it's just going to be me holding a sign that says Connor Toss is the best TikToker ever. It's going to be the only video.
I love it.
He's going to be like, this guy has horrible taste.
And he's just so he must be stupid. Like, who likes a bully, honestly?
Right.
I don't know. I would have to really sit there and think. You're gonna stump me, man. You're right.
I'm gonna stump you. This is my new challenge. You roast the fuck out of me, and then I'm gonna stump you.
You would have to like roast yourself basically at that point, right? Because
I would, but you know what? I had to own it. I ended up falling asleep on my live stream, and everyone was like, "Yo, where's the news on this?" Like, so when I was on that. Yeah, it was great. So I had to just own it. I'm like, you know what? This is my time. You know, it's my turn.
And finally, Connor Toss got roasted. How do you feel about being roasted by the TikTok news guy?
I gotta say, it was a real privilege. It was an honor. Like, he's just, you know, his suit really just made the whole thing feel a lot less painful.
Oh yeah, it's a comforting suit.
You just, you know, when a guy in a suit walks up to you and says, you know what, you're just doing your life wrong, you just feel a little bit better than, like, if a guy dressed in, like, scraggly clothes is like, you can't get your life together. It's like, well, obviously you can't either.
right, you have to be a new kind
buddy.
of low when somebody in sweatpants comes up and telling you you're doing it wrong.
Jesus. Well, it's funny you mentioned Patreon, because you know who else has a Patreon?
Who has a Patreon?
The Lonely Boy Hour at patreon.com/lonelyboyhour.
Nice plug.
There's my shill for the episode.
Good plug. Good.
That's
yeah.
And there you go.
We don't have sponsors, so this is the best plug I got.
Should we talk about our Blue Apron sponsor that we're trying to get?
Okay, we're trying to get Blue Apron, not to get money, just so Zoe can have one box of Blue Apron.
Yeah, I just want one box. I've never had that before.
Just a single box, not even like the bulk they give you for being sponsored. Just
one serving.
Box.
I want them to go so out of their way to sponsor me. I want them to just exclusively give me.
I feel like that'd be harder than giving you a bulk set.
I mean,
it's like, I'm sorry, she wants what? Just one. She just wants one. She thinks she's
one.
special.
Just one.
All right.
So you're gonna like sell that. Be like, this is an exclusive, owned by me. Here, we can sign it. And there's only one of them. And everyone's like,
Available
wait, why only one? I thought they came in bulk.
$1,000
It's like,
on our Patreon.
Are you kidding me? I'm selfish. I'd keep that and I'd try to make it and probably burn every item on the menu that they send me. And then I would just be disappointed to talk about it on the podcast of how even with all of their help, I still didn't do it, and they needed to send me another one.
They would never sponsor us again.
Probably.
they're like, nah.
Man, this shit was too hard.
We went so far out of her way just to help this one person, and she burned the one thing we gave her. She didn't even want the bulk.
We can sell the one box at $1,000 for our Patreon, because by the time someone is willing to do that, it'll be like bad.
It'll be spoiled.
Send them one rotten box of like fucking Zanzar chicken. That was I think I really need to figure out what I was referencing. I was referencing a meal that came in like 2 days ago. It was like Zarzar chicken or something, and I didn't know what it was.
Was it good?
I don't know. I couldn't eat it.
Oh.
There's a secret here, guys, and I need you both not to immediately say, "Oh, but I eat only that," basically, which is I can't eat chicken.
Oh, I don't like chicken, so it's all good.
Okay.
All right, well, then I guess I have no response to that.
Exactly. Everyone's like, "Oh, I eat so much chicken," and I'm like, "Yeah, I would, but it feels like I'm dying if I do."
Oh, well, that's not good at all.
I can't breathe. My stomach hurts. It's real bad. It's pretty rough. I get these like rash all of a sudden. It's so gross.
Sounds like you're allergic to chicken, you know? That might be
I'm
what
allergic
that
to
is.
poultry. I can't eat like duck or turkey either.
Oh,
Or pheasant
Can you
or
eat
quail. No, I just said I couldn't eat turkey. Zoe! I expect more from you.
you shouldn't. I'm trash.
Yeah, her name is literally trash. Like,
You have the bar set way too high. We need to knock that down a few pegs.
All right. Speaking of lowering the bar, I think now that we have a guest, it's time to talk about it. Who's everyone's least favorite TikToker?
least favorite.
Can I
Like
say,
out of
can I
us
say
or just in
myself?
general?
Damn, I meant out of us. That's actually better than what I meant. I meant in general. Well, out of us three, I need to know who's everyone's least favorite.
Me. I have the lowest follower count, and I post garbage.
You're right. That does make you the least cool out of all of us.
All right,
Exactly.
it's trash then. It's hands down trash.
I've won.
Zoe,
I finally
aka
win at something.
Shrazzy. You win at being the worst.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
No, I just want to start some TikTok beef. That way, like, Connor, what happens is you'll, like, say who your least favorite TikToker is. And then they'll come on the podcast just to talk shit about you.
Oh, that's a plan.
Yeah, right there.
All right, well,
And then, like, we'll ask them the same question, and it'll just be a cycle where we always just get to, like, have someone, and we just get to roast our previous guest.
sounds great.
But
I
then
love it.
eventually someone's going to say your name, so you get to come back on.
They're like,
Yeah.
yeah, that TikTok news guy, he's a bully, and I don't appreciate how he's getting popular off of this. But the one thing, it's like Tosh.0, right? Or if you guys know, Leafy is here, except
I do know both.
the one thing I have that's, because TikTok is a little bit more, is a very Christian app, no
Oh,
profanity or,
It's very
do you call it?
family friendly, you know?
Very
no nudity,
families.
nothing
Oh,
like that.
yes, totally.
so you can't, as long as I'm not swearing, I'm like, all right, I'm making fun of people, which is like completely against the rules. So let's just not swear, and then that should make it okay.
No, I'm the opposite. I'll swear the entire fucking video, but I won't call anyone out, so no one feels
so
the
that's
need
the
to
balance. So as
report.
soon as you do those together, then you're out. Like, forget about it.
Yeah.
TikTok's like, no, you can't do both, guys.
Which is funny because I need to call someone out, and it's funny because I don't know if this episode's going to come out before we get them on, but there are two people who have now stolen my content.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to call them both out, and one of them's already scheduled to be on the podcast, so I'm going to call them both out. The first one is that gray gentleman made a video talking about like a story from a gas station, which is 1,000% my content, and I will fight him. And then Bad Munchie Time, if you're not scheduled yet, you need to like message me right now, and we're gonna fight about this. They started overnight at a gas station, and then they make TikToks all night while they're there, which is exactly what I do to a T.
Dang. So
I think you're gonna lose both of those fights, honestly.
I'm gonna lose. Listen, I'm gonna lose, but I'm gonna lose with pride.
You're gonna lose with pride. Does that actually happen? I'm pretty sure usually when you lose, you also lose your pride.
Probably.
I guess it all depends on how you take it. You know, maybe if you can be like, yeah, I didn't know it, and but here's the thing though. Here's this one. I don't know what that would be, but I have this one thing that you don't have. And then it's like, oh, okay, fair. But I don't know what that would be in your case.
I don't know.
So does the gray gentleman, are you friends with him on TikTok?
Oh yeah. We're mutuals. I don't want to say, I don't like the term friends. 'Cause it sounds like we're like talking to each other.
Oh, you guys are talking? How far along are you guys?
Yeah, you know, we. I think that sounds like we're pregnant. Like,
has it been a month now? Have you guys made it past the holding hands part?
Yeah. Well, now he'll look at me in public ever.
Oh my gosh, he'll look at you in public. That you guys are basically married then.
Yeah.
I know.
No, he doesn't even live anywhere near me. He lives over in New England somewhere.
I love that U-turn. He doesn't live anywhere near me.
This guy doesn't know me at all. No, he'll talk to me like he knows who I am and all that fun stuff. We're not like on texting each other about weekend plans or anything. Because that's what friends sound like. Just in reality, I just mean that we both follow each other on TikTok.
That's the one thing I've found with. So I've only found 2 people in my state, and it's actually once you get people that are like living relatively close to you, it's really hard to do like collab stuff. Like I'm not seeking it out, but if I see someone in Maryland, I'm like, oh, like how far away are you from like Annapolis? And they're like, relatively close. And I'll be like, oh, do you want to like do like an actual video together? I think that'd be cool. And they're like, yeah. And you're like, okay, when? And they're like, well, I'm kind of busy right now. It's like, well, then why'd you say yeah? Yeah. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I guess, man.
I feel that. I have a creator like an hour from me, and we have never met in real life because we just never have the same time free. And it's
so I'm actually gonna start driving to Maryland whilst recording this podcast, and I'm gonna do a TikTok news with you.
Yeah, while you're driving, somehow also keeping internet connection.
Listen, I'll use the hotspot for my phone. It's gonna cost me a fortune to go through that much data. With the sacrifices I'm willing to make.
I'd be more worried about background noise, honestly.
Listen, that'd be a hard one to explain.
The sound of hitting people on bikes and probably small critters.
There's an entire segment where I forgot to edit out my part of the audio where I'm like burying a hitchhiker I actually ran into.
Podcasters, TikTokers, possible serial killers. Who knows?
That would be a good. There's your TikTok news.
There you go.
User the Noodle Doodler murders someone during podcast day.
Only on the Lonely Boy Hour.
I now that I've mentioned it, like the entire idea was to do TikTok as this podcast. I'm kind of low key upset we didn't name it TikTok, like with the TALK now.
I mean, it's not too late. We could just cut out all the audio and say the. I like the Lonely Boy Hour better though.
I know. Listen, I've already made the Patreon and the email. We're not putting. That took tens of minutes, my friend. We're done. We're not doing it.
Too much effort to fix it. Too much effort.
Listen, this podcast took me a whole hour to set up. I'm not going back now.
We talked about
sent
the podcast
out like
more than we
2 emails.
Two whole emails.
Yeah, I did. I sent out 2 emails. You know, the work that I've done
compared to the work that could be done to make it look so seamless and shiny. But it's okay. You already spent an hour. That's too long.
I haven't even edited I haven't even edited the first episode yet. Like,
oh my goodness!
I at least spliced them
like
together to listen to them.
3 whole days.
Yeah. Hey, like I'm already doing like around 3 hours worth of TikTok news. Just let me edit this podcast for you, and we can get it out.
He's recording a TikTok news right now. Whenever I talk, he mutes his mic and he hits play again.
Actually, every time you don't hear me, I'm saying, "Can you believe they said that?" Like, what a bunch of losers!
You're actually live stream roasting us.
Could you imagine that? I could do that. I'm on my computer right now. I could completely.
What a betrayal of trust! I'm gonna have to just keep TikTok open now, just to make sure you don't just.
Just live stream while you do the podcast. That sounds like a great idea, actually.
That's one way to like not get anyone to listen to the podcast. Like,
Yeah, pretty much.
everyone would be like, "I just heard it live. I don't need to."
Exactly.
And then we don't get that sweet revenue.
Well, let's be honest. How many people do you actually get in your live streams, Connor? Because it might not be that many people who don't listen to it.
I think the most I've ever gotten is when I fell asleep and I got around, someone said I had around 105 at one point.
I came in and there was like 60 and I was like, why are 60 people watching this man sleep?
I think it's better that, so I ended up, I told my boss when I woke up, I was like, hey, so I ended up doing a live stream and I ended up falling asleep and I think I'm a low-key meme on my, he's like, what are you talking about? I was like, well, a lot of people actually ended up recording me sleeping. He's like, wait, you live streamed and you fell asleep on it? I was like, yeah, and here's the best part. People ended up giving me donations. He's like, what does that mean? It's like, they ended up paying me $50 and then TikTok took its cut. He's like, you made $25 while sleeping? I was like, yeah.
Well, like I pulled the ultimate con, which is I do live streams while I'm at work, so I make money off TikTok while I'm already making money. I'm a genius. I record myself, like I live stream while I'm at work, so I make TikTok money while I'm making money.
That's beautiful.
I've gamed the system.
You have gamed the system.
Funny enough, thanks to Zoe, there's a game that goes on now where people try to donate while I'm not looking.
Oh, yeah, it's called the sneaky gifting. You try to gift people when they're not paying attention, and if you get caught, well, you lose. And you basically compete with everybody else in the live. I've donated so much. I've gifted so much money doing that, and no one even knows. No one is the wiser.
Wow. I'll close it out. I'll be like, how the fuck did I get all these gift points? Like, who donated while I wasn't looking?
It's me.
It's all you.
It's all trash.
See, I'm on the opposite end, though. I tell people explicitly not to give me gifts, so I make a total of like $0 every time I go live.
That's fantastic.
Oh, well, bitch, I'm going to drop so many drama queens next time you don't even know.
If you drop drama queens in my live, I'll kick you out.
I'll drop 8 before you can stop me.
Could you imagine that? So you're sitting there, you're like, wow, I just gave this person money, and the person's like, no, kicks you out. This person was kicked, and everyone else in the live is like, wait, what?
Fuck you, just immediately. Oh, God.
I would love to just see everyone's like personal reaction to seeing someone get kicked out because they donated money.
I think at this point, most people that donate large quantities of money to my TikTok are just to watch me be confused and surprised simultaneously.
I think that's a good theme. Usually it's just like people going like, oh my gosh, like, why did you do that? And people are like, because. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, you don't have to do that. That's a waste of your time and money. I'm just going to spend it on like Twix bars and sunglasses.
just Twix bars and sunglasses, very specific.
I'm just going to send pictures of all the Twix bars and sunglasses I buy.
Uneaten Twix, by the way. Just he never actually eats them. He just collects them.
That's a fundraiser and a half right there. Just a TikTok stream. Just get a bunch of guests on, and all your proceeds go to me purchasing a pile of Twix bars and sunglasses.
Could even start a Patreon tier. It's like, when I reach $500, I will personally buy 100,000 Twix bars.
Keep them all in your freezer.
I'd buy a personal freezer for those Twix bars.
Exactly.
This is my Twix freezer.
Listen, that sounds like the dream.
Listen, that's the TikTok dream right there.
Well, speaking of live streams, the great gentleman is actually currently live right now.
Oh, well, listen, we got to all jump on and give him a piece of my mind.
Be like, yo, man, apparently you stole someone's content once, and that's not appreciated.
Listen, I know that we all... Okay, there's an actual problem with stealing content I have, which I've learned recently, which is that people will save my videos and then upload them, but they'll tag me in it as if that makes it okay.
Oh, yeah. Yep. That's happened to me a few times.
Why? No!
Mm-hmm. I usually politely ask them to take it down, and then if they don't, I just report the video because, no.
I mean, that's only fair. Here's the best part. So... With TikTok news, right? So a lot of people will disable the saved, and I still have yet to make. I really want to make a video where so most phones now, they come equipped with the ability to screen record. Right. So I really want to make a TikTok news where I'm like, hey, listen, guys, I just want you to know that if I want to put you in the news, just because you don't let me save it does not mean I can't screen record that shit and put it on the green screen.
So, like, I have my saves enabled, but there's actually, and I'm not going to tell people what it is, so this is a rampant problem. There's an app you can get that you could just save the video even without the watermark. I use it for my own videos, and all you need is to, like, get the share link. And so, really, there's no reason.
Really?
There's nothing stopping. Yeah, I can show you it later if you have, like, an Android phone.
You should definitely share that to me because I would love to have access to that.
I use that for a few things, but mostly it's to save my own videos without a fucking dumbass watermark. Because I don't need it if it's my own goddamn video.
Right.
So it's a very nifty little thing, and it comes in handy for me, especially like, another reason I'll do it is if I'm like making a video that's a duet that requires editing, just so I don't have their watermark as I'm going through in the video.
Oh, so you'll take off their watermark.
Yeah, because I'm uploading it and tagging them in it anyway.
Gotcha.
Yeah. That's fighting smarter, not harder, Connor.
I'll just screen record it, and I already have all this stuff like their likes and their comments, and I'll just crop in like that's what I do. I just crop in the video.
Then it's your boy Connor coming at you.
Yeah, like, listen, guys, if I'm gonna roast you, I am going out of my way to roast you. I'm already going out of my way to tag you in the video, make hashtags that are related to the content of not my content, your content. So you have an anime girl doing the whatever it's called face, and I put that in there, an anime, and I'm already doing all that. What's a little bit of screen record and crop it in?
Yeah, listen, if I'm putting in this much effort.
What's like 2 seconds to scroll to the right a little bit, and then boom, you're cropped in.
Bam, here I am. It's me, your boy, coming at you to roast you.
Your boy coming at you.
Okay.
Prepare to get roasted.
So what I've learned is I need to create a second channel, right? And it's gonna be TikTok, like I've been telling you. Except it's gonna be your videos I've saved. I'm just gonna edit out the part where you say the word news.
Oh God.
Today on TikTok.
Just the app TikTok. Just today in TikTok.
And then I'm just gonna I think it's gonna take way too long for people to call me out because I'm gonna make my username the TikTok news guy.
And that's not taken right now. And it won't be for the next 30 days.
I'll make my name the TikTok news guy and let's re-upload your videos and no one can tell me otherwise.
Okay, so here's a question. So someone was telling me there's this one creator where I think she has like 600,000 or something. And sheesh. I was in her live and she was like, "Oh, hey, Connor." I was like, "Oh, hey." She's like, "So why don't you change your name to like Connor so people know it's Connor?" And so then I ended up changing. So first it was Sabrini Chaz, which was my last name. And then I used Andrew because that was my middle. And she's like, "No one calls you Sabrini because who uses anyone's last name to address someone unless they're like in trouble or their mom."
Or the military.
Or the military. So I ended up changing it to Connor. And she said the reason why you should probably try to do that is once you go into other platforms, it's easier for people to say, "Oh, Connor Taz," and they go to Instagram, "Oh, Connor Taz," versus like something exclusively for TikTok and then change it on other social media. So that was my mindset. But you're right. Like when you say Connor Taz, it's like, who's that? Versus the TikTok news guy. Oh yeah, I know who that is.
That guy. So I've done goofed because like I went to make my social medias all be the Noodle Doodler, and some like random artist who's been inactive for 4 years has both the Instagram and Twitter handle. So if you're having to listen to this podcast, you fucking message me. I'll buy that shit from you. Just take it down.
I'm in the same boat on my Twitter, Tragedy on Twitter. If you're listening to this, I would love my username on Twitter because the original Tragedy is just too long for people to add on Twitter. So, yeah, just can I have that, please?
Just gotta send all your TikTok clout after and be like, "Yo, I want you to do me a solid. Go to this account and spam them until they change their username."
Today on TikTok, Noodle Doodler harasses Twitter user. Beautiful. All right. So you think I would have been like, ooh, we have a guest on. I should get some questions ready. But I didn't.
So for the rest of the we just sit here in silence. You know how they most YouTubers, when they don't have that 10-minute mark, they just sit there and put some black, and that's what we'll do. We've already made the 40-minute mark. We'll just sit here for the next 20. No, I'm sorry, for the next 15 minutes, and just.
Oh, this could be the ASMR episode.
We can jump into our ASMR part of this.
We can.
Recording.
You're listening to the Lonely Boy ASMR.
Wow. You know what? I gotta say, I'm probably more comfortable now. That just might be because I'm a man, but I feel like I'd rather listen to female quiet voices versus a really deep voice run by.
I understand.
But you know what? Your voice is quite alluring also, so I might just make an exception here.
All right. I don't know. I gotta make my voice sound more and more seductive now.
Well, I feel like is your mouth touching the microphone right now? I feel like
it's like a solid inch away.
Oh my!
I'm just gonna turn the gain up higher and higher.
See, I'm really far away from my mic because I have the pop filter.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh! And you're not gonna get those with those.
I know.
This is gonna be a fucking nightmare to edit, and I hope you all know that.
What? Why?
Let me just get rid of that pop filter real quick. Hi.
Who needs a pop filter?
Wow. All right, so did she just get closer to the mic without protection? Did that just happen right now?
I like to live dangerously.
Yeah, but that microphone, I'm sure, is living on the edge right now.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and back away from my mic and talk like a normal person now.
I'm gonna put my pop filter back on.
Can we have an ASMR section for every episode of the podcast?
Oh, please. I'm here for that. Yeah. I'm sure people will appreciate it.
What I'll do is just be like, okay, and Mr. Pillowson, if you give us your best ASMR. This is gonna be. We're gonna have to timestamp it because 3 of our listeners come just for the ASMR segment.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So we're gonna have to timestamp it in the beginning of the video and just be like, hey, if you're just here for the ASMR, it starts at 38 minutes and 12 seconds.
You better put the actual timestamp at the beginning because that's not the right timestamp right there, friend.
Oh no, there's no way in hell that's the right timestamp. I'm gonna just put. Hey, if you come for ASMR, first off, why the fuck would you think we'd do that? Second of all. Because located at this timestamp.
It's we have to give them that because it's a lonely boy hour, and some people when they're lonely they like to listen to people whisper really close to the mic, right in their ear.
Connor, if you did a TikTok news about an ASMR person, would you do it in ASMR?
Absolutely.
Just your mouth is very close to the front of the camera, and just hey guys.
It's like, okay guys, so there seems to be a ASMR TikToker. This is really uncomfortable. I'm super uncomfortable doing this, but I just want us all to know that ASMR does exist and it is a problem and we need to stop it before it gets out of hand. It's already a problem on TikTok. We can still stop it. It's still not as bad as YouTube. YouTube is currently run by a bunch of ASMR and you know that that's a problem, so we can still stop it, guys. The furry war, that's a bunch of bullshit. The ASMR war is where we need to be going, and we need to stop this right now.
We're going to start the ASMR war now.
I think that sounds like a new episode for you.
Right there. Yeah, just get super close to that microphone.
Yeah. Connor, as your co-writer for TikTok News now, I do expect 10%.
10%. Well,
10% of 0 is still 0.
There you go. Exactly. That'd be great if you could get commission off of each video, but that's called YouTube.
Listen, that's the plan, right? We all got to get on YouTube. Except any YouTube content I make would not, any TikTok content I make would not work on YouTube.
Okay, so I know this is your podcast, but so here's a good question. So you got on TikTok, right? You've got a good following. What if you could right now, if someone said, all right, here's your opportunity, I will help launch you into the social media that you want to be, what would you start doing? What would be your new niche?
I would be a Let's Player on YouTube and Twitch because I suck at video games, but I'm pretty funny when I die. So, yeah, I'd probably do that, honestly. That would probably be my go-to.
Okay, so I get to just get started no matter what I want to do. The TikTok Illuminati will drive me to victory.
Exactly.
Let's see. I think I would have to So I'd start making videos where all I do is drop things off of very high locations, and like I'd attach like cameras to them.
Wait, isn't there already a channel that does that?
I think it's called.
Is there?
Dude, that's perfect, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
Dude
yeah.
Perfect. Oh, Dude Perfect does that? I haven't actually
Yeah.
watched him. I've just heard his name about 1,000,000 times.
Yeah, they're making.
It's quite entertaining, actually. I enjoy it.
Okay.
They're making hella bank off of throwing stuff off of tall places.
Okay, I gotta think of a new idea then. It's gotta be just something stupid that no one would watch if it wasn't for the TikTok Illuminati.
Connor, what about you? What would you do if you could go to any media?
Come back to me.
What I really would like to do is I've always liked the idea of like, so I've been a bigger collab person. Like I have no problem like doing stuff by myself, but I've always really enjoyed like being able to do stuff and say, yeah, I was able to help this person out. I actually got to have that. So it's cool to have a following, and it's really exciting to be able to get like money through people through their donations. But I think the most exciting part about TikTok so far is, so I was working with a commercial photographer who's literally making probably tens of thousands of dollars. He can afford to send his children to college, and this is all off of photography. So he's pretty, well established. And I was able to go onto my Instagram and say, hey guys, this guy just took this photo of me, and he obviously didn't say that because he doesn't need it, but I was like, he said he would take this photo if I could send some of my TikTok clout his way, so go like his photo. And he ended up blowing up. Like it was a couple people, but a lot of people liked like all of his photos, and I was like, that was the first time I was like, wow, this is actually like really, like I just legitimately made an impact on. Now, not a big impact, but it was still like a small impact. So I thought that was cool. So I thought it'd be cool if I could just continue doing like collaboration stuff. So if that's like through skits, or like right now I'm kind of doing, so TikTok news is one of them. But then on every once in a while, someone will have like merch, and I'll be able to do like a live stream and shout out their merch. And then they'll end up getting more people going to buy their merch because they saw it. And then on top of that, I'm able to help someone else out. But after you do the merch review, you do a raffle like that same week, and you say, hey, you can donate whatever you want. The more obviously generous the donation, the more points you'll get into the raffle. And once you win that raffle, I'll have the creator sign it and send it to you personally, and it's going to be paid for. Everything is paid for. All you have to do is just win the raffle. So that way you're helping. I'm getting attention through the other person because they're sending them their followers my way. I'm shouting out their merchandise, and then someone somewhere gets like signed merch of someone that they really look up to. So I've always been super into like community stuff, and right now it's kind of smaller a little bit, but anything that's really related to just like helping other people out. That was a really long, God, this wavelengths, man. That's all me right now.
Yeah, it's okay. We were just happy listening. Yeah, we were listening.
That's fantastic.
That makes anything I have to say sound awful because you're like such a
Exactly.
sweet, wholesome person. I gotta think of something wholesome now.
While you're thinking, I actually am an impressionable person, and I follow you on Instagram. So I actually did. I was one of those people that went and blew up your boss's a page and all of his photos, but not because you told me to, but because he was put on my radar by you. And then I went over there and I was like, wow, you're a really good photographer. So, impressionable.
Yeah. So that was he was actually asking, he's like, who's this person? I'm like, oh yeah, actually that's the girl I'm going to be doing a podcast with. He's like, what, you're doing a podcast? I was like, yeah, I don't know why, but she's trusting me to be on her podcast.
I think I suggested it. I don't mean to brag. Just throwing that.
Oh, I'm sorry, mister.
I do think that you suggested it, but I was the point person, so
Yeah, listen. Yeah.
So what's the biggest so for this podcast, what would you say if you were to put like a sentence to draw people in, what would be the advertisement line for it?
The Lonely Boy Hour. Are you lonely? Because so are we.
Yep.
And apparently so is all these guests. So that TikTok news guy that is super confident, super cocky. Yeah, he's in that lonely boy.
He's
gang
lonely.
too.
He's sad.
So lonely.
He looks at himself in the mirror in the morning and goes, "What are you?
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
This is how
with
we
your life and your
humanize
TikTok?
TikTokers. Everyone's gonna be like, oh, they're just like us, except we're listening to them on a podcast and they don't know who we are."
Oh my God. And then it was so inspiring, and now it's sad again.
Yeah, this is what I do.
It's the lonely boy hour. We get sad, we get happy, we get dark, we get sad
And
again.
we roast the fuck out of you, and then we go sad again.
Yep, it's a big cycle. The circle of the podcast.
The circle of podcast.
So how many of these have you made already?
We've recorded one episode. You are our first guest. I hope do you have anything to say as the first guest?
Well, I'm super glad that ASMR will be a thing. You don't know how long I've low key gone into people's lives, and I'm like, hey, just like jokingly, you put the laughing emoji afterwards so they don't think you're serious. But you're like ASMR, and legit, every other they'll get right up to the microphone and do some ASMR for.
Oh, I'm fucking guilty of it. I'll do it. If someone says ASMR, as long as it's got that laughy cry emoji, I'm fucking in. I'm like, okay, this is just a joke. This is fucking some fan service. Why not? Hey guys.
And then everyone's like, oh yes.
Oh yes.
Start
As long
dropping
as-
drama queens.
As long as people think they're doing it ironically, it makes it okay. Oh, I'm not dancing like an idiot on this McDonald's counter table for real. I'm doing it for TikTok. That makes it okay.
Right. do it
Listen,
for
I'm a
TikTok.
dick for social media. Don't worry. I'm not being a dick for attention from these people. I'm being a dick for attention from the internet.
That makes it different. Oh, that's so
I don't want
true.
these people to think I'm quirky, so they'll pay attention to me. I want the internet to think I'm quirky, so they'll pay attention to me.
And when people in real life ask me why I'm doing this, I'm like, oh, I'm doing it for the internet, and then that apparently makes it okay.
Right. It's
Guys,
all for the,
it's
it's all
just
for the
for a
fame.
video.
It's for the
How
fame,
many-
the followers.
How many followers do you have? Oh, you have 1 million? Oh, that complete. I mean, I'm going to have to wash your feet off this counter, but at least it's for a good reason. It was for a guy with 1 million followers on TikTok did this. That makes it okay, boss.
Right. They're a big
Yeah,
deal.
guys,
They're a
you
big deal,
understand.
so it's okay. It's like a celebrity.
I want to start opening that up. Like, I want to like go to places, and they'll be like, "Oh, your meal's like $8.36," and I'll go, "Oh, well, is there a discount for being a TikToker?" And then they'll just immediately go, "Okay, your meal's $10.83."
Yeah, you're going to be giving money to me for asking such a stupid question, for wasting my time. And I want you to go outside and personally apologize to every tree that's going to have to turn that carbon dioxide back into oxygen.
Listen. Do I get a discount for being a TikToker? No, but you can get the fuck away from me.
I do.
fucking degenerate.
It makes me wonder, do real like famous people on the internet get like those perks though? Like does like Jacksepticeye or Markiplier walk into like McDonald's and get free fries? Like does that actually happen, or is it just kind of like, you're on YouTube? Like
I think it would depend on maybe the person, because I know that like when I was doing I had a summer job when I was in high school, and it was working at a baseball field, and I would just give fries away if it wasn't like substantial. Like I'm like, you know what, like this one kid even walked up and he was like, man, I don't have the money for this this small soda. I was like, dude, it's like $3. He's like, yeah, but I don't have it. I'm like, no, I mean you can go.
It's
So
fucking
it's-
$3.
And worst comes to worst, I guess I got to pay for Markiplier's meal. It was pretty great. Oh, really? What'd you pay for? It was like $100 meal, but at least like I got to pay for Markiplier's meal.
But I gotta meet Markiplier, the Markiplier himself, Mr. Plier himself.
It's like, didn't you already meet him though before you paid for his meal? Like, wasn't there a solid 10 minutes where he had to like pick out his order and stand in line? It's like, yeah, but don't take this away from me. Like, I know it was a bad idea.
I need this. He's gonna remember me as the 316th person that bought his food for him once. He's gonna remember that for sure.
I'll be that one person. They'll shout me out. I'll become famous too.
That's I think that's everyone's dream when they help a famous person, right?
Is that they'll shout them out. Well, that's what TikTok news is all about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
Just,
we put you on this podcast. You get 1 million followers, and you don't forget your roots.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think the best thing too is, so I was think it's the first time it's ever happened where, so I think this one person ended up following me and they never really said anything. They just kind of followed because they liked the content I was putting out, or really the reason why I got launched was because I made like one TikTok news and I was like, okay, so first I was doing like back at the very, very beginning, I did like the super simple thing. And then I did a bunch of, those silly skits that everyone does. And I was like, most of these people that are doing really well, they're doing simple stuff, repetitive. They're doing it every day. And it's super, like all the trends are really recreatable. Like the current one is like throw it in reverse, where people are just doing normal stuff, but they're just putting a reverse effect on it, and that's it. So I was like, okay, well, what's super easy that I can do content on? And I don't know how I thought of it, but I was like, let me just talk about other people doing things. Like, you know, Leafy did that, and Tosh.0.
That's genius.
So, and I was like, the first video I did, it actually didn't do that well. And I was like, you know what? Screw it. Like, this is super easy. Anyone could sit down in the chair and just make comments about stuff. And I didn't even have the green screen behind me. And the one I did after that, I ended up putting that Bitly girl in the background, like for the thumbnail, and that ended up blowing up. So if I hadn't just been like, you know what, just because this one didn't do well doesn't mean that it's super easy. It takes no time at all to set this up and just sit down and make a comment. And then after that, this one creator that had, I think it was like, she had 400,000 at the point. She loved it, and she was like, she did a duet, and she's like, this needs to continue happening. And then after that, she shouted me out like 3 more times, and then I just started rocketing from there. And that's the only reason why. It was just because I was like, screw it. And then TikTok gave me a little bit of followers, because I was just like, whatever. And then after that, the third one, then that one got like blown up because someone else saw it.
Well, like, how long have you actually been doing TikTok so far?
2 months.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like, because you just like appeared out of nowhere as far as my
You just appeared out of nowhere.
It was like one moment I didn't know you existed, and then all of a sudden everybody was talking about you. Like all the people that follow me and I follow back were talking about you, and I was like, where did this person come from? You just like, you have a lot of people following you that are bigger, from what I can see at least, or that want to be on your channel. But and at the same time though, you're at that 17,000 mark at this point, I believe, still.
Yeah, it's crazy. Someone ended up popping in my live, and they were like, you know, I think you might be one of the more connected. Like, you don't have a lot of followers, but you know, you have all these like really like 200,000. That Ian's guy from Australia, he's following you. Like, you know, you have a lot of heavy follower people.
Yeah, you have the network. You've built a decent network already from where you are.
And lucky us, we get to be like, hey, we had this guy on our podcast before he even knew how to use Audacity. Like,
yeah, and he was like, what the hell is Audacity?
We knew when he was young.
Making mistakes and stuff. Don't worry, we can do, if I end up blowing up through, the one thing I'm waiting for is to just do a new segment on someone or something that just gets rocketed. I'm just waiting for that. And then we can come back to this, like, so Connor, do you still not know how to use Audacity?
Well, I had an idea there, but I forgot that then you probably it would not make sense to have you on the podcast, because then we couldn't talk about anything else. I was like, what you got to do is you gotta make a TikTok news that roasts me, and then I have to make a video where I'm very upset about it, and then we start this whole controversy where we're just insulting each other.
Yes.
We drive each other to the top. Except now we've said it on this podcast, so we can't. Also, because then when we come back on the podcast, we have to like make up, quote unquote.
I think that would be really interesting, actually.
Actually, Trash. So it could be Trash could be the mediator, like they do on Drama Alert, where he calls 2 people and he's like, so Leafy, this lady is like super obsessed with you. What do you think about that? And then it could just be us instead, where Noodles, like, do you really appreciate what Connor said about you? And you could be like, no, I don't really appreciate
that
it.
fucking bitch. Like,
whoa, we're not using foul language here. We're keeping this neutral, using I statements, you know? Let's keep it calm.
Guys, do we need to do ASMR? Like,
do we need to calm ourselves down? You both sound very excited.
Do we need to take a moment, back up for a second, take a deep breath, you know?
And then you just hear 2 like simultaneous, just like in the background.
Heavy sighs.
Okay, I guess.
I guess, guys. So this can be, if this is your first guest podcast, then I guess TikTok news. Hopefully that can help get us both some clout then.
Yeah, well, it'll be lit, my dude. Is that how people talk? It'll be lit, my dude.
It'll be off the chain.
I'm
so out of the loop.
So lit, man.
It's okay. It's gonna be all right. I'm proud of you for putting yourself out there.
Thank you for being proud that I tried. It's more than I do in most things.
At least you tried the right participation trophy.
Oh, I'm good with that.
You get a participation trophy. I'm very proud of you.
Listen,
So
at least I have trophies then. Other than people who didn't get their participation trophies, they didn't even try. I showed up. I made an attempt. It just didn't go very well.
No. See, I'm too cool for school because I got a participation trophy, but I didn't participate in the act of obtaining it.
Oh, well.
I'd have to like
cheated
give
the
him my
system.
address, and I'm like, nah, fam. They'll be sending me newsletters and shit. I ain't about that. All right, so we are at the hour-ish mark. So if you guys have anything else you guys want to talk about, let's fucking throw it out there now.
So it's an hour and
Hour and a half-ish. Hour.
Yeah,
it's the Lonely Boy hour. We try not to go into the 2-hour marks because.
Yeah. So at this point, this is kind of where I'm like, hey, we should keep track because otherwise we will be here for 4 hours and it's gonna be weird.
yeah. So it's an hour 20 minutes, right? Or hour 30?
Yeah, that's how long we try to record for. Yeah, and I'm probably gonna cut out 10 minutes or so of us just like awkward silences and stuff.
I don't think we have many of those. We've just been keeping this going.
Yeah, we've been doing good. I haven't even edited the first one. I don't know how many's gonna be there, but
yeah, that. So we just here's the rule. Then from now on, we just got to keep talking, and so the awkward silences are easy edits for you because there's nothing physically there. So we just got to keep, even if you don't have anything to say, just keep talking. Just keep talking over each other. We actually just have to keep talking over each other. So you're just like, who gets to say
the world's
what?
least edited podcast.
I have a question, actually.
Yes.
And this is for the group. I figure since we don't have very many segments on the podcast, and we are from TikTok, right? This is originated for the idea of like TikTok people being taken seriously. What kind of things, TikTok will never listen to us, but like what kind of things do you want to see at this point from TikTok? Like things that they could improve upon?
I would love to just see that because there's this one creator. She has, I think, almost 400 something. I'll talk to her like every day. I gotta say, sometimes you get a lot of people that are famous, but they're still pretty cool. She told me she has that notification split. And
I also have that still.
I too have it.
I don't have that. I don't get the split. I don't get to see all my notifications are still all like crammed together.
I feel so bad for you. That's such a struggle.
It's so much better.
I ended up buying like a new phone just for the sole purpose of FaceTime and also to have that notifications. And it was like, I still don't have it. So I don't know if I don't know what it is. I can't tell you.
They've got your account banned from that new notification thing. That's a nice notification thing, though, honestly. I will say that I don't look at the people who follow me, though, as much now that I have that split. Because I don't have any reason now. Because I go back, I'll just go to comments and mentions because I don't really have any reasons to go look at likes. I don't have any reasons to go look at the follows. But then I'm like, what if somebody follows me back and becomes a mutual and I just never notice because I don't go over there?
I go through my follows just to be like, ooh, wonder because I like to just go like, I wonder what this person's all about, and I'll just click a random follower. It's usually, I'm gonna be honest, it's usually not very good, but sometimes,
I feel like it's just swarmed with like bots on my page. Honestly, it's just swarmed with like bots and people that don't have any content, so I don't have any reason to go to their pages.
So you're gonna love this then. So many people. That's an understatement. That's an overstatement. I'm sorry. A couple people, a handful, will always be like, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much for checking out my page," and then I'm just sitting there like, "Oh, I was just seeing if you had like a substantial amount of followers," and then when I saw you didn't, I left. That's what I do.
Oh God.
I'll come
God.
I mean
like,
that honesty, though. Honestly.
like, that's what I do.
Yeah. Well, like I'm in the middle because like. If someone has a lot of followers, I'm definitely going to go through that fucking page because I want to see what's going on.
Right,
and if they have like a million videos with 0 likes, I'm like, obviously these aren't good. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
Normally, if they have a lot of followers, they have good content. That's a good sign. If they have a lot of followers, they at least have some substance there. Even if it's just thirst follows, you still have substance there. It's still a good-looking person, a good sounding
yeah, even
voice.
if it's a thirst follow, I could be like, ooh, let's see how sexy this person is.
Right, exactly.
You can just tell by the amount of likes if it's a thirst or if it's not. Oh, this is 2,000. It must be thirsty.
I can honestly say that most of the people I follow that don't have more than 1K followers are people who show up in my lives regularly and talk to me, because those are the people that I'm like, yeah, I want to see your comments more often in my lives, so I follow them back because I like their personality, I like who they are, and then I'll go look at their pages.
Well, that's pretty probably not common on oh, you have a good personality, but what's your following? Sorry, I can't make that trade-off there.
Listen, I have a street cred. I have a brand to protect.
I am the shit here, and I can't be following a bunch of peasants, okay?
Well, my reasoning is I'm like, hey, if you're taking the time out of your day to spend time with me for like 3 hours on a live stream, I can do you the favor of making you yellow in my chat so I can make sure I'm seeing your messages. You know, for me, it's like if they're gonna spend that much time spending time with me, they're investing their time in me. I can do this small little thing, and even if I don't go to all their videos and like them, at least I'm giving them something to make them feel like, you know, make it show that I care that they're there, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
I can see it. Personally, I use my following page too much to fuck around with who I'm following.
Oh no.
I don't want to go through and see all that trash. You excluded, of course, honey.
Of course.
I couldn't remember your name for a second. It's Zoe, so it's just Honey. That's fine.
Honey is fine, you know, it's fine. Just don't call me Stacy.
All right, Stacy, you got it.
Is your what? Do you just not like the name Stacy? Like,
Oh, there's a story and a half. So I had a teacher in middle school. I know, going way back. Not that far. I feel so old sometimes. I'm 22, but it feels like a long time
way back.
Way back. I had a teacher who called me everything but my name. So if he was calling a name out in class and it wasn't somebody in the class, I knew he was talking to me, and he always would default to, if I didn't respond, Stacy. So I was always Stacy. And this dude, he was a horrible person. He was not a good person. But I don't like being called Stacy because it just reminds me of that shit-eating grin he had on his face every time I actually responded and like gave him what he wanted in that moment. So don't call me Stacy.
I won't call you Stacy. Can I call you Tracy?
No.
Okay, no variation of Stacy.
No.
All right,
Okay.
so automatically you absolutely know if I'm ever doing a TikTok news, you got at 100%. No one will even know the reason. I'll just be like, yeah, that's Stacy, man. They're like, why the heck are you calling her Stacy? I'm like, and by the way, be sure to go over and comment in her videos. All of
You're
them.
like, hey, Stacy.
Hey,
Just
Stacy.
the word Stacy.
And that way, you can just go into one of your videos and be like, wow. This teacher, man, I can't even enjoy any of my videos now because when I see this video, I'll think of Stacy, which will make me think of that awful man.
I just gave you ammunition since you can't really roast me because of my name. I guess I just gave you ammunition to roast me about a name I don't like. So
Perfect.
Fair
Let's go to my
play.
next video.
Fair play.
Trozzy, more like Stacy.
Yeah, guys.
no one will understand until they listen to the podcast.
I actually just came into this podcast just for more content for TikTok news, so I do appreciate it. We have like 5 stories now. I came in with 0.
Yeah,
That's what we're here for. We're just a bunch of think tanks. A pair of think tanks. Nailed it.
So I'm going to take a hard steer left in this podcast. Everyone buckle up. I'm going to make a hard turn here.
I'm ready.
I'm gonna skirt.
So you guys would, how old are all of us? I'm 20.
I'm 22.
I'm 23. Wow.
So we're all in our 20s. So you could consider us a group of youths, or maybe even a youth group, right?
Like those questions that we were asking in the last podcast?
Yeah, and you know,
groups?
all TikTokers are kind of like family members. So you could call this like an extended family gathering, I think.
Right.
I'm glad you caught on, Zoe. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, Connor, if you could build a house out of anything, what would you choose?
Build a house out of anything?
Yeah.
Oh, geez. I don't know. That sounds like one of those interview questions where they're like, so you want to get this job selling a bunch of cars, right? Yeah. So why would you ride a giraffe versus an elephant? You're like, wait, what?
Fuck. Oh, God.
I'd probably use brick, honestly.
I think that's reasonable. I really do.
Mine's better.
Okay, what's yours?
I would build it out of gold, so whenever I was getting low on money, I could just chip off a piece of it and sell it.
Well, you could just sell a gold house. It didn't say you had to live in the house.
I want to live in the house. I want to have house parties and be like, yeah, my house is made of gold.
Wow.
So the insulation, you would not believe.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So the
It's like an
context,
oven.
Connor, is in our first episode, I read a list of icebreakers for children, and I was just trying to find my way back to that list just for you.
We had a question on there that you said you were going to ask every podcast. Do you remember what that one was? Because I do.
Oh, God, I don't. What is it?
So, Connor, if you could be a supervillain and take over the world, or you could be a superhero and stop someone from taking over the world, which would you choose?
I don't know. Honestly, the good guys usually always win, except if you're watching the first part of Endgame.
Ooh, spoilers.
But then the bad guys always get like the coolest stuff. So it always like, I don't know why, but I always liked, like too specifically. So in Spider-Man, I always liked Doc Ock because he had like 4 extra mechanical expandable arms that could do like everything. But then somehow a guy that shoots liquid out of his hands and has super strength beat the guy with like indestructible arms or something.
Yeah, 'cause that makes sense.
Yeah,
right,
you know.
absolutely.
So, and then there was also in what's it called? Transformers. You had the what's his name? Megatron was able to turn into this like futuristic jet, and he was somehow defeated by a guy like a trucker.
Semi-truck.
Yeah. So I was like,
semi-truck.
so I mean, the good guys always win, but like, you know, the bad guys are always set up so well. So it's really like real world. I think I would probably, if I was a bad guy, I would probably be better equipped than the good guys taking on the bad guys, even though the good guys always win by some like technicality or something. Yeah,
well, hold on. I could believe Spider-Man could beat Doc Ock now with all of his quips and references, but back then, I don't believe it.
Yeah, like he has metal that literally extends upon itself. Like he'll be sitting in one spot, Spider-Man will be coming in like through a top rooftop or whatever, like the top window, 8 stories, and you see those arms launching out of the side of the screen, somehow reaching Spider-Man, and somehow that guy lost to the guy that couldn't even sling webs that far, but he still won.
Now hold on, I have a counter. Spoiler alert for a movie that's been out for a year now. An hour, just a fucking
for an hour, for a whole hour,
for a year now.
If they haven't seen it yet, they deserve to be spoiled. That's just the reality of it. They're too far.
Spoiler for Infinity War. Now Spider-Man has big metal arms coming out of his back.
That's true.
So get fucked. Like,
that's true. And
check and mate, my friend.
Have you ever, if there's one thing we can all take away real life, I highly recommend you guys watching Screen Rant pitch meetings if you haven't already.
I have not. I'm gonna mosey on down.
So there's this one part. So it's basically this guy who talks to himself, and he's like, he bounces back and forth all these ideas, and then he has his other self as the pitch guy. And he's saying, yeah, so basically we're going to have Iron Man, and he's going to have this suit that's made out of, like, whatever he called it. He's like, oh, that sounds really cool. He's like, so how does that work? He's like, basically magic. He's like, wait, what? He's like, yeah, so it's metal that conforms to himself. It's metal that can expand. It's metal that can heal himself.
It's basically just a sorcerer.
Yeah. So,
like, the sorcerers couldn't do that. Like,
yeah, but Iron Man's suit can do that. Or the other one where he was like, so this is a spoiler for Infinity War Part 2 Endgame, where he was like, yeah, so this guy, Ant-Man, comes out of the quantum realm, and he's like, hey guys, like, time travel is a thing, right? And everyone's like, oh yeah, let's go try that. And they go over to Tony Stark, the smartest guy on the planet, and they're like, hey, can we do this? And he's like, no, you can't. And then he kind of, while he's cooking, he goes and just tries something once, and it immediately works, and he figures out time travel.
Yeah, just like it's nothing.
It's like, oh, can you just run this this quick test right here, and it works, and man, oh, boom, all right, time travel.
So at this point, I think I'm just gonna put like an Endgame spoiler warning before the sections and give a timestamp to get over it, so we can just talk about Endgame for a fucking second. So I'm just upset that like the first Infinity Gauntlet had to be built in a dying star, and then Tony Stark just fucking builds a better one.
Yeah.
Right.
So another one of the segments he did was, so when someone puts on those, you know, massive power infinity gems, right, there's this massive surge of power. But when Iron Man takes them off by slipping it off his there was no difference at all. There, you know, he just got them and boom. Versus Thanos, you know, one of the strongest people apparently in the movie, he's just like, oh my god, it's surging through my veins. But Iron Man does it through his suit. It's like, yep, I have the most powerful things in the universe, and it just slipped right on. Boom.
I mean, he did figure out time travel though, so I guess.
Oh, that's true.
He might be smart enough to put it.
Did you figure out time travel, my guy?
Oh no, but you'll be sure to see it on TikTok News if I do.
Today's episode of TikTok News, I figured out time travel, bitches.
Bye.
Bye.
What I'm gonna do, if I ever figure out time travel, what I'm gonna do is I have a green screen. I'm just gonna like set it up, and then every day when you go to make a TikTok News, the day before, I'll make the episode before you.
Oh. Well, then you're gonna
Just
be
grief Connor's page.
You're gonna be in the same boat I am. So most of the time, people will always ask like, "So how is it you're finding out all this stuff?" Or "How is it you know how to do these bits?" And I'm like, the For You page. I'm literally a personalized For You page. Like if I can make fun of it, you've probably already seen it. I'm just making a comment, and that's the difference.
I love it.
So here's another. Even though it's your podcast, what's something that you wish you had known when you started out on TikTok? Like if there's something you could have known before walking in.
It's addicting, so don't start.
Oh, that's
okay.
interesting.
Because I love TikTok. I love being on TikTok. I have some great people I've met there. I'm doing a podcast because of it. That's insane. But to be honest, it takes up far too much of my time, and I could probably know a second language by now if I hadn't started TikTok, 4 months ago. So.
All right, so Trash needs to get off the podcast and start her new road to.
Connor, would you like to be the new host of the co-host of the Lonely Boy Hour?
It's too late. You're not getting rid of me now. You're stuck with
Trash
me.
is in TikTok rehab.
You'll sit on. You'll be a new co. We'll just every episode, instead of having guests, we'll just add a new co-host.
That sounds like a plan.
Tress is taking her first steps, and it's on the podcast she helped start.
Yeah, the first step is to acknowledge you have a problem. The second step is to ignore it.
Yeah, there you go. I acknowledge it. That makes it okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm gonna say if I knew this, and I've only been on TikTok. Trash. I don't know how long you've been on here. I've only been on TikTok for about 4.5 months, maybe.
I'm about the same time, about 4 months.
Yeah. I would probably just, I would actually say the opposite. I would have told myself, yeah, hey, listen, it's not as bad as it looks. Because that's, everyone on the outside shits on it. And that's actually why I started. I was like, maybe it's not bad. And then I tried it. And if I would have tried earlier, I probably would have been a billionaire by now,
Oh, right. I'm looking at creators that started like in December, right?
Yeah, when it really blew up.
Yeah, before all these politics went down, and they skyrocketed, and now they're kind of plateauing because everybody seems to be at this point. But I wish
you're talking about I'm on my way up, baby.
Yeah, I'm not, and I'm okay with it. Connor, what about you? If you could tell yourself something.
I don't know. Like I kind of walked into it pretty. Like a lot of people are. Like, there's this one guy that started the same time as me, my face on stuff, and all he does is print out a meme face of himself and just sticks it random places. He has, I think, 200,000, and he started 2 months ago also. So I don't know what I could tell myself.
Shit.
Yeah, so he was like, when did you start? And I was like, I started at 2 months. He was like, oh, that's the same as me. So I was sitting there thinking, I was like, wow. Like, you have all these creators that were like, some of them like Ghoul Bagel. I think she has like 800,000 or something. And I was in her live, and I was like, so when? Oh no, she was in my live, and I was kind of having a fanboy moment. I was like, whoa, what are you doing here? She was like, yeah, so I started. I think it was 8 months ago, but that's better than some of my friends that have been doing this for years, and they only have like a couple thousand or something. But I was going off of like the only person I'd ever asked that was like around my same time frame was my face on stuff. So I was talking to all these people that have like, 500,000 or, they're doing really well, but they like, Short X stuff. She, said she started like a year, maybe 2 years ago, but she has around 400,000. But I was going off of the guy that's closest to my start time. And he has, I don't even know what the math is there, but he has 200,000. I only have 17. So I was like, dang, I'm not doing that right. I'm doing something wrong.
I don't know what it's like to be in the sad wallowing pit you guys are in followers anymore. Flex on the haters, but I'm sorry. I love you guys.
That 30K flex.
During that, I'm almost to 40 now.
Listen, you're still 30K though.
Yeah, listen. Yeah, okay. Anyway, doing that 30K flex, you plebs. I don't know what it's like being down there anymore. But I do know. I'm sorry. I'll stop being a dick. But I have this new problem now where I'll mention on like a live stream how long I've been doing TikTok, and people will be like, "I've been on TikTok for the same amount of time, and I only have 200 followers." I have to be the asshole that goes, "Well, maybe you just don't have good content then." Like,
are you just now getting that? Because I've been getting that since I hit 1K. Like the first time I could go live, people were like, "What? You've only been on here for like a week?" And I'm like, "Yes." Is that unusual?
Is that a problem?
Are we?
Everyone's like offended, like, "Oh, I've been on here for 4 months, so I should also have 35,000 followers or whatever." And I'm like, no.
It's not how that works.
So you have almost 40. Are you a verified account? Because there's another account that has. It's called Boodles and Noodles, and she's a verified account.
Oh, I better fucking get verified right the fuck now. I have an email to make. Strongly worded tattoo.
You're gonna hear very aggressive typing in the background for a second.
I feel like verification is like a double-edged sword though, because yeah, you're verified and like you have that nice check mark and whatever and like tips and tricks, but like I feel like they also look at your page more often then, right? Like if you become verified,
you're right.
Like they're gonna look at what you're posting. I don't want that. I don't want that in my life. I don't want them to see what I'm doing all the time. I mean, they already are, but like I don't want to be in that spotlight.
Yeah, because then they actually have like apparently. So I was talking to Ian's, who still isn't verified, and he has 1 million followers. And I was asking like, why isn't that a thing? And then he was like, well, you have to go. They give you a special group chat. Like once you hit a certain amount of followings, or if you're verified, TikTok makes a group chat for you with like creators that are around your same range, and you have to do trends. So if you're able to do the trends that so when you do their trends as a famous TikToker, then you're also supporting that trend to everyone that's following you. So then TikTok gets, I don't know, whatever they get out of that. But he doesn't have that following yet because he doesn't have that badge because he would rather, because he's making a really small, probably more than small, but he's making like a legitimate living off of TikTok by doing duets. So he's like, I'd rather be doing these duets and actually be able to support myself rather than do some trends and get like a orange badge under my name. Right. So that's all I have to say. That's my inside scoop there. TikTok News has got the tea right here.
Yeah, this is today on TikTok News. Here's the motherfucking tea.
Here's the oh gosh, you want to hear something fun? I'm gonna flex in a not numbers way but connections way. Apparently I have a friend and she comes to my live. Shout out to Is Just Marie. She is immediately friends with the T-girl. So she was like,
"No way!
I
didn't remember that was a real person." Like at this point,
so she
it's just a robot.
It's just a meme. She's not actually a human. She just kind of showed up, did one of her little T bits, and that was it. And then she just went away.
Created by the TikTok Illuminati.
Obviously.
So she said, "Yeah, I'm trying to get you an interview with her." I was like, "Oh my gosh, that'd be like, that's the equivalent of Belle Delphine on YouTube right now with all those British TikTokers." Like, I'm sorry,
that's
YouTubers.
Fucking gold. Like getting an interview with the T-girl.
If you're talking about getting launched, like I just got to do an interview with the T-girl and then be like, "All right, guys, bam." So just gotta wait.
Are you implying that our in-depth interview we've been doing for the last hour or so is not going to drive you to fame?
Oh, it is. It's going to drive. It's just
we're racking up those non-existent listeners at this point.
Yeah, we don't even have the first episode out. We're kind of a big deal.
I know.
Exactly. And then you get to your first one gets to come out and people are like, definitely have to put out the first one, and then after you guys put it out, you'd be like, okay guys, like this new podcast is starting. It's called The Lonely Boy Hour, and I'm going to be in the second episode, so you better buckle your asses in and get ready for this. Get your popcorn, shut your parents out, and just sit there and lie down and listen to my voice for an hour and 30 minutes.
And just remember, anyone listening, you can't listen to this podcast with a friend. You have to listen to it alone. So download it separately, go in different rooms, and listen to it on your headphones.
Then come back together and talk.
Yes!
It's the Lonely Boy Hour. We need those downloads.
Yeah, listen, we need your help. Even if you're not going to listen to it, just download it and then delete it again.
Yeah, exactly. Download it, delete it, and then re-download it again.
Yeah, we need them downloads.
Download it, delete it.
All right, guys. So we have been going for about an hour and a half, and my computer I forgot to charge before I went into my studio where I don't have a power outlet, so I'm at 3%.
Amateur move.
So yeah, no, I wasn't home, so I forgot to plug it in before I left my home.
It was actually his perfect outro. Like, all right, guys, so my battery's dying, so I actually do need to leave unless you want to just continue this.
Out, and then you guys continue without me. But let's close things. Connor, would you like to show your page, plug your page? That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, Connor Taz. That's the only thing it will show up as because there is no TikTok news. Or if you want to just look up the hashtag TikTok news, you'll see me right there on the top. I own that hashtag now.
I'm gonna have to make a video just so I can be on there, you know?
I originally, real quick, didn't own that hashtag until that weird glitch happened. And it deleted the two people that were owning that hashtag, and now I own that hashtag.
I'm on it. I gotta take you down. Anyway, you guys can check out Zoe and I. Zoe, you show your shit next. I'll show last.
Yeah, you can follow me on TikTok. It's TrashZie, TrazHie. You can say it however you want. That's fine. I post garbage content, so go ahead and follow that.
All right, and then I am Kelvin, aka the Noodle Doodler. You can see me yell a lot. I'm not actually as angry as I sound in my videos.
Yes, you are.
I'm just a ball of rage, as you guys may all tell. So you guys, if you want to email us with any recommendations for guests, segments of the show, if you want to we got to do one more thing after this. If you guys want to donate to our Patreon, you can do so at patreon.com/lonelyboyhour. You guys can email us at lonelyboyhour@gmail.com. And Trazi, we're supposed to recommend a song.
Oh, I have one. Hold on. I do have one. I got to pull up my Spotify. Give me 2 seconds. I'm just filling air.
I'll go first. So I would like to drop on I'd like you all to listen. Now, I'm a piece of hipster garbage. And I really like weird, like unknown hipster bands. And one of them is called Dance for the Dying. And they have a song called Mannequin I really like. I only understand about 6 words, but I think it's a fucking bop.
It's a fucking pop.
I love it. Mine is Boom by Zane, and I'm going to butcher his last name, but I believe it's Hijazi. It's a great song. It's quite hilarious, and I can't really give anything away because you won't want to listen to it, but I definitely recommend it. It's kind of a romance, but not really. So that's Boom by Zane Hijazi. All
right, guys. And Connor, I would ask you if you have a song, but again, I'm at 1% now. So I'm going to make... Do you have a song? Go for it.
Rum and Bass by Boom Kitty, and then that's all I'll say. And Connor Taz is for all of my handles as of currently, unless I change it to TikTok Newsman, which I might. Who knows?
Okay. Thank you all for watching, and stay lonely so we can get those views.
And hydrate or dihydrate.
Get tested.